Hello and welcome to my Sinnoh Tour guide for, the upcoming Sinnoh Tour for this weekend. So, I'm still a little bit sick, but actually I feel like a little bit better right now as well, so hopefully I'm sounding okay for you. But if you still enjoy this type of videos, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Of course, no face cam, because again, I'm very kinda sick. But let's move on to what we kinda want to know. There are some interesting things which we also had, like from the Las Vegas one, which might swap over to the global one, which were not announced. So let's take a look here real quick at the date and the bonuses. Starts on the 24th of February, Saturday, 10 a.m. local time for you, and ends on the 25th, 6 p.m. local time. So ends actually pretty early with that. But basically you're going to not need any tickets to play this event. Like, you're gonna have basically mostly the same experience as everybody else who buys a ticket, because yes, there are tickets to buy, which you're going to see later on in this video as well, of course. And everybody, no matter if you buy a ticket or not, going to have 1/2 hedge distance, which is really good, by the way, which you're going to take a look at later on as well. 6 special trades per day, 1.5 trade cost, and no remote raid limit. So remote raid's still going to cost you quite a lot of Pokecoins, but at least you don't have a limit of 5 anymore. You're gonna have no limit, because Niantic needs some monies, and here we're gonna spend it all on them. Honestly, I'm going to do so many raids, so like, if you're on my friend list, feel free to invite me, but only to the 2 that are currently on the screen. Anything else I'm not going to accept at all, but I really would like to have a good Dialga and a good park here, so feel free to invite me. And of course, there are adventure effects here. By the way, there are going to be a lot of info from Galaxy, which I usually take a lot of info as well. Definitely follow them as well, but also from LeakDuck, so definitely shoutouts to them. But I already made a video on what version you want to choose. Here some more interesting information about it as well. I mainly put this graphic on there though to explain the adventure effects, which you see here as well. Roll time kind of pauses the time for those items that you use, basically. So you can use something like the daily adventure instance, the lucky egg, the what's it called? Yeah, for example, the star piece, something like this. And the timer going to be paused for the duration that you're going to activate it for. Here it costs you 5 Dialga Candy and 5,000 Stardust for 6 minutes. You can stack it up to, I think, 24 hours. And for Palkia, you're going to have a way wider encounter radius, which is really, really cool. 10 minutes only for this one. But basically, when you pick the versions, you're going to be able to double it, which is really important. And I chose the diamond version of this one, which I completely regret. If you saw my video about it, otherwise check this video out. I would recommend you the Pearl version if you want to have more information towards this one. Feel free to check out the video. I think it's like 4 days ago I made a video about it, so definitely check this one out. Moving on, we're going to have some new shinies, and we have 2 that might be coming that are not announced. And those are going to be shiny Rotom and shiny Basculin. At least for the people that went to the Safari Zone, it's like the in-person Go Tour event there in Los Angeles, I think it was. People were able to encounter those Pokemon as shiny, and we don't know yet, of course, that those Pokemon will be available as shiny, but it's fairly likely. And there's going to be a research for Rotom. I already put it into a video earlier on. I'm going to put it into this video later on as well again. And otherwise, Basculin going to be also part of the event, which you're going to take a look at a little bit later. But also, they're going to be, I think, usually no increased shiny odds for the normal Pokemon, because there is no event ticket directly for the event, which was the case for the first 2, which made them way, way cooler in general to play. But you're going to still encounter more like the shiny Turtwig, shiny Chimchar, shiny Piplup, shiny Stunky, which at least is cool, and shiny costume Pokemon, which I guess is kind of fine as well, but like not really that crazy interesting. But otherwise, you're going to also have an increased chance of finding shiny Hisuian Voltorb, shiny Hisuian Quillfish, shiny Pachirisu, shiny Chatot, and shiny Carnivine from X, which you're going to take a look at the X later on as well. But those are going to be the new shinies. Very interesting. I really enjoy the Hisuian Electrode and the Hisuian Quillfish, so I definitely kind of want to hunt them down. Pachirisu looks amazing as well. Skuntank looks also pretty cool. The rest, I'm not really too sure about them, but let's move on to the next slide, which is going to be about Regigigas. You're going to be able to encounter Regigigas. I know, that's exactly what you always wanted, right? No, not really, most likely, but yeah, basically, you can only encounter this Pokemon, most likely based on what Niantic said, by going into the party play feature with other people. So you need other people to encounter this Pokemon. It's going to be a quest encounter, as far as I know. You have to kind of do some, yeah, quest things in general. And for the Los Angeles tour, there were also just some standard quests, like catching Pokemon of a certain type. Usually it was like a rock, ice, or steel. And you were able to get some candies for Regice, Registeel, and Regirock. So that's kind of mostly what's going to happen again, and you're mostly going to try to finish this research task with a group of in a party basically to try to unlock Regigigas. If you don't have friends, you are mostly not going to be able to get those Pokemon, but it's mostly not going to be too interesting. Basically, in the beginning of the season, it was actually leaked that this Pokemon was supposed to get Crush Claw, I think it's called, as its signature move with this kind of party play thing. But apparently this is not a thing anymore, so most likely it's not going to happen. Just want to say it here because, yeah, it was basically leaked to be the case before, but I don't know, right now it does not really seem to be the case. Moving on, we're going to have a Team Go Rocket Mission. We're going to have a Rocket Mission that's going to be available as well, which is going to be around your first partner Pokemon from the region, so you can mostly choose between like the 3 different ones, or it depends, maybe even choose between 6 different ones, because there are like 3 different ones for the Sinnoh region and 3 different ones for the Hisui region, and yeah, we have to see how this is going to go. But you will be able to encounter Spiritomb, which is otherwise not available at all, which I don't really know. I mean, yeah, okay, I cannot get it from the main series games because it was very difficult to encounter this Pokemon there, but I still feel like it would be kind of cool to put this one as a wild spawn. It's not a great Pokemon anyway. They could make it pretty decent if they wanted to, but yeah, same typing as Sableye, a little bit worse in terms of the stats, not really the craziest Pokemon, but if you need a shiny one, this might be one of your only options to get it. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky. I'm luckily actually got a shiny Pokemon of this one already, but yeah, it's going to be a Team Go Rocket Mission, which is kind of interesting. Next one, White Striper Basculin. This Pokemon is going to be available only through routes, so you have to do routes for that. And yeah, you cannot evolve it. It would actually be able to evolve in the main series games into Basculin, which I already made a video about as well, which was also on the video where I basically talked about which kind of badge you want to choose. But yeah, basically a Basculin and Basculin going to be interesting Pokemon, but you can only get them from routes. It's currently not evolvable in Pokemon Go, and it was not announced to be shiny, but apparently like it was at least shiny for the people in Los Angeles, so it might be the case for the global tour as well. Or Niantic is just deciding to say, yeah, screw those people that are not going to be able to pay a ton of money to go for a local event, and we're not gonna give you the shiny one for that one until like, I don't know, like 2028 or something like this. We don't know, but let's move on to the next one. We're going to take a look at the Rotom research. I already took a look at this one in the gameplay video about Rotom, because I did this one myself, and afterwards I got really sick, so here I am still. We're going to have here the research, which is going to be, oh, you found me. If you have not done this yet, you can still unlock this one. You have to go through the web store now, because Niantic wants to see you, like basically put you into the web store first, so you can see all the offers, and then you still have to redeem a code somewhere there. It's just kind of iffy that they removed the option to get it basically directly from the yeah, in-game menu. I know it was never the case for iOS, but it was always the case for Android. Don't know why they did this, but it's really annoying. But here you see the code on the screen. You have to catch 30 Pokemon from the Sinnoh region. Again, if you want to hold on for this, you might be able to encounter this one as a shiny variant as soon as the Sinnoh Tour starts globally. But again, I am not going to guarantee for this. It was just the case for the people in Los Angeles. And so, yeah, maybe it is not the case for us. We don't know. Maybe Niantic is going to deactivate it in general again for the global release. But it was not possible, at least from reports, to get it right now. But it might be possible when we have the Sinnoh Tour starting. So let's take a look about like what the ticket's going to be, and they're going to be a lot of tickets. So let's move in right into the first one, which is going to be the Master Research for Shaman. This Pokemon going to be released as a shiny, which is basically what they always do for those kind of tour events. But it's going to be costing you $5 basically to get this one, which is kind of wild. Going to be already available at the current time when you're watching this video. I already got this one actually from a gift, so shoutouts to you, definitely. Really appreciate this one, but definitely an interesting one here. Those usually take a long time. I know a lot of people are pissed off of this, basically, that it takes so long, but I actually think it's a cool thing that it takes so long. So yeah, like whatever you really think, because like it feels kind of more worth doing this. Here you see, by the way, already the first 3 steps. Basically, third step is not completely revealed yet. But you need 7 steps total, and you're already gonna be catch locked basically in step number 2. Catch Pokemon on different days is 15. So at least for the people that were in LA, it was 15. It might be even worse for us now. But yeah, basically for the people in LA, it was catch a Pokemon on 15 different days. So 15 days time locked in the second step already. So most likely, if you're going to play Pokemon Go the entire time, you might be able to get this Pokemon when GoFest is around. So, we're going to have some paid extra bonuses. So if the bonuses that you saw on the first slide are not enough for you, you can get some extra ones which are going to be already in effect right now, but also then going to be affecting during the weekend where we have the Sinnoh Tour. So maybe this is something for you, maybe not. I have clear minds about this one. There's one for raids, there's one for hatching, you have 4 raids, plus 5000 XP for completing raids, plus 1 normal candy for catching the Pokemon that you caught basically from a 5-star raid, plus 2 raid passes total from spinning a gym, so like it's plus 1 basically from the one that you always get anyway. You have very weird, really bad rewards for winning raids, and a really interesting reward at the end. Of course, the Eevee mask is kinda cool, but the rest is kinda not interesting. Then we're gonna take a look at the Hatch variant, where you get 2 times Hatch XP, 2 times Hatch candy, and 2 times Hatch Stardust, plus you already had in the beginning the half distance for hatching eggs, so this kinda really kind of benefits from it. We want to see here the kind of research as well. You have to hatch a total of 6 eggs in here, and this will allow you to encounter the original Pokemon, which also have a shiny chance. I think they also already have a shiny chance right now, because I saw some reports at least for people getting it. I still would most likely wait until the Sinnoh Tour is starting to claim those Pokemon. But if you want to get one and you can only really afford one, or you think like you only want to get one, for me it's kind of clear that the hatch variant here for this one is clear-cut better than the other one. Like, I would not even consider the raid one. I feel like the raid one is such a scam. Like, for $5 basically, like it only is worth it for you in terms of what you get for the raid one if you play the next few days and always do 2 raids totally. From like your free ones, basically 2 in-person raids. And I don't know how many people are doing this. I'm not doing this. Also, I'm sick, so I'm not going to go outside right now. But like for me, this is a scam. While the hatch one, at least with the extra hatch Stardust, especially because you're going to hatch a lot of eggs during the event, I would imagine, it seems definitely kind of solid, and I would kind of recommend you to go for it. So let's take a look at the spawns, eggs, and raids for this event. And we're going to see here something as well, because I decided to basically give my own rating for the different kind of hours. We're going to have the hours again for this kind of event. I think it's the same for the first and the second day, but I'm not too sure actually. Maybe the second day is something different again, but I think it's the same days kinda, but I'm not too sure actually. But as you're gonna see here, we're going to have for the first hour the Bustling or Boardwalk? Okay, I don't know. Bustling Boardwalk, we're going to have the Lucas Head Pikachu, the Dawn Head Pikachu, and some random encounters. And you see here the 4 at the end for me. This is, in my opinion, the worst hour of them all. If you don't like want to wake up early, skip this hour. If you don't want to, if you want to have a break basically midday, I would take a break at 2 PM basically your time, because I feel like this hour is pretty bad. The only interesting thing here I feel like from this hour is the shallows, because you can get shallows that you usually don't get, which I feel like is kind of interesting, but the rest I feel like is literally just garbage spawns. Like, I don't even know what is decent here. For me, this is clear-cut the worst of them all. Next time, we're going to have the Ancient Groves, and this is going to be a little bit interesting because you have Hisuian Growlithe, which is really cool. You have the Hisuian Voltorb, which is a new shiny. We have also new caps for Pikachu again, which is kind of interesting. We have Combi, which is going to give you extra Stardust, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, not really too crazy interesting stuff there. Nosepass is kind of interesting. Cherubi is kind of rare, to be fair. But this hour is also part, I think, of the Distortion hours, which are basically where you have like those Hisui Pokemon, which you see as well with the Hisuian Hisuian Voltorb and Hisuian Growlithe. So you're also going to impact on the race that you're going to get, which you're going to see later on. So basically this one and the fourth one total then later on going to be the most interesting in my opinion. So this is the second one. It's not the most interesting hour for me, but definitely very interesting. Toxic Dig's going to be the other one that's going to be more about Hisuian Pokemon. And as you're going to see here, okay, it's also not really that crazy about Hisuian Pokemon. I guess Duskgold and Gligar evolve, plus Yanma evolving into it, Apom as well. I guess those have evolutions in the Hisuian region, I guess, and it does make some kind of sense. Here we're going to get the shiny Stunky, which is kind of interesting. Some other Pokemon that are kind of cool, Shieldon, especially if you want to get Pokemon for the Go Battle League as well. Definitely does make some sense. Otherwise, not really the craziest spawn. Skibble can be cool for you, but let's move on to the fourth one. Those going to be now the best one in my opinion. Geothermal Lagoon is going to have encounter with Lickitung, one of the best Pokemon for PvP, Rhyhorn, one of the best Pokemon for the Master League. We have the Quillfish, which is going to be a new shiny. We're going to have the Hisuian Sneasel, which is a rare shiny. We're going to have Swinub, really good rate attacker. A lot of decent Pokemon here, so this is in my opinion the best one. I feel like compared to the other kind of regions, Sinnoh is not really giving too many good Pokemon though in total. I feel like it's a little bit worse than what we had prior. I really hope, which we don't have any confirmation or whatever towards it, there were like spawns like Hisuian Braviary and Hisuian Everluck for the LA people. I don't think that we're gonna get those. If we would get those as like surprise encounters for maybe instants during those different kind of hours, this would be cool, but the only thing that we know about instants is that those going to allow us to get those unknowns. And here's one of the issues as well. You can only get unknowns from non-daily adventure instants, which basically makes the bonus of having daily adventure instants a little bit longer with basically the Dialga effect there. Not really the Roar of Time effect, basically not really that interesting anyway, because if you have the daily adventure instants, you cannot get rid of the unknowns, which are kind of cool to get as shiny. So I would really recommend you to go for the Pearl version of the ticket, but yeah, again, like those are going to be only available through instants during the event. Might be still very cool for you, but let's move on to the next slide. We're going to have the Eggs here. And basically, I feel like eggs are really cool in general. I do like all of the 5 and 10 kilometer eggs. I guess like Gibble is like a little bit of a iffy one, but we have the new shiny of Hisuian Voltorb, we have the new shiny of Hisuian Quillfish, we have the new shiny of Stunky. They all also have like a buff in terms of their encounter rate, which is cool. We have the Pachirisu, Chatot, and Carnivine and 10 kilometer eggs, which is like the most interesting one in my opinion, because those are Pokemon that are only available in certain regions, and so especially as a European, for me, I don't have access to any of those, so it would be really cool to get them. I already have them all, I think, in my Pokedex from like other people who got them, but yeah, still kind of would like to get the shinies especially. Otherwise, 2 kilometer eggs are kind of iffy in my opinion. Chingling, new shiny, of course. Of course, all the baby Pokemon does make a lot of sense. Riolo is a cool spawn, Munchlax is a cool spawn, but yeah, I would kind of avoid the 2 kilometer eggs, but you cannot avoid them anyway because it's random. Moving on to the rates, and you see here, by the way, next to the rates as well, some kind of symbols like 1, 3, 5, 7. Those are kind of the hours where they are appearing. So for the first hour, for the third hour, for the 7th hour, and for the for the 5th hour as well. Those are rates going to be appearing for those distortion world areas basically. Here we're going to have the normal Palkia, the normal Dialga, normal Torterra, Infernape, and Empoleon, Turtwig, Chimchar, Piplup. Not really interesting, like Dialga, Palkia have been available for the entire time, and so I would focus for those that are in the other hours, which are going to be the Hisuian forms, which we already did as like Great Days this time around, as well as the Origin forms, which are going to be very interesting, especially as a shiny we release now, and also they can learn the new moves. Of course, it's going to be guaranteed depending on what kind of event ticket you chose, but it's going to be a little bit more tricky for you to get the other form. It's going to be a pretty lower-ish rate to get the signature move. I hope that you can elite them eventually though, which would be really good, but let's see about this. Origin form Palkia is the #1 Pokemon for the Master League, so definitely something to look forward to. And here for the end, for today, we're going to have a little bit of a checklist here. Clean up your storage. Like, I try to get up to like 3,000 storage space cleared up for this event. But of course, for a lot of people, that's not feasible. Same goes for kind of balls. Try to get some balls. I try to get up to 2,000 here, like 1,200 is a little bit more realistic for a lot of people. But of course, if you cannot get the extra bag storage or whatever, it is kind of sad, but like you still can try your best there. Save up incubators, because I feel like incubators is one of the most important ones for this event. In this way, I also think that the incubator ticket might be worth it for you. Get rid of X before the event. You can do this. I'm not going to do it because I'm too lazy. But like basically, if you want to get rid of the X before the event, you can just start in with the fresh new X, which might be kind of interesting for you. Save up coins and passes, of course, because of the release of the Dialga and Palkia Origin forms, which might make it interesting. Try out to meet up with friends for the party play quest to get Regigigas. Add roots. You can still add roots, and they might get accepted before that because they actually get accepted pretty fast, in my opinion. Would help you out to get the Basculin if you don't have good roots yet. Plan your day, and rest is important because like it's 8 hours straight. Nobody really wants to play 8 hours straight. Take a rest, in my opinion. The best hour to take a rest is the 2 p.m. hour for you, so maybe even start a little bit slower into the day, because the first hour and like the 2 p.m. hour, which is the same hour of course, are not really interesting in my opinion. Otherwise, bring a power bank, bring some food, bring some water, and have some fun. So that's going to be it for my video. Tomorrow there's going to be a tier list for all of the spawns, so definitely stay tuned for this. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.